And welcome back to another edition of On the Board Sports. I'm your host, Will Trucci, a.k.a. Will C., coming to you live from Ucomm Podcast studio here in Manhattan, New York. There's a bomb cyclone going on right now. They postponed Game 4 of the ALCS, but we're here right now in studio, and I'm joined with the one and only Kris LaGrange from Ucomm, from the Ucomm Podcast. Kris, how are you?
Pretty good, Will C. Thank you for having me. Will C., you do not give yourself enough credit.
We'll see in the place to be.
You're like almost my official sports guy now. You come into my studio, and we don't disclose where, and you fit in right away.
That's
you got a gift for radio. Not only are you probably the best journeyman 117 hour can buy, but you know your stuff.
Hey, listen, it's what happens when you're a sports fan.
That's
You know,
right.
you got to be on top of everything.
That's
Same thing
right.
with being an electrician too.
That's right.
But we're not going to talk electrical today. We're not going to talk any of that stuff. We're going to talk sports and strictly sports. That's what the show's all
Yes,
about.
sir.
And you know it, Kris. You're a part of it. You're not only a Met fan, you're a Packers fan and an Islander fan too.
Yes.
Okay. But before we get into all that stuff, I want to know how you got into Ucomm and how you made up Ucomm Live and the Ucomm Podcast.
Well, anyway, as you know, organized labor never gets a fair shake. And especially folks in the media, we're not sexy enough to constantly report on, what fights Local 3 is having with some contractor.
Right.
But what I found is that, wow, we really do care about the collective bargaining agreements that the players' unions have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone's talking about it. Drunk fat guys at the bar, athletes who are up and coming, everyone's talking about how much they're making, the benefits. And when the conversation gets more intelligent, they talk about the strain on their body, on their personalities, on their lives. They are almost, these players' unions, the epitome of what all unions should have when they start gaining market share. So I realized that when I started doing my outside communications, because I work for a bunch of local unions directly, that I needed to include sports for a few reasons. Mm-hmm. And because sports is the great unifier, everyone likes a team. I think that you don't belong as a labor leader or as a community leader or even a politician if you don't like sports because you're unrelatable, let's be honest. Mm-hmm. And also, it's something that is not always skull and drudgery. It's fun. If you're fighting because you're a Mets and a Yankees fan, it's okay. It's funny. Right? But if you're fighting because you're black or white or rich or poor, well, that's serious.
Right.
I think that when we use sports as the great unifier along with music, we can find commonality. So, to be able to answer your question, how did Ucomm start? Just by luck, dude. I don't know. Right place, right time. The union movement needed a guy like me to go ahead and do internal organizing and communications, and it's really just been taking on a life of its own. But Ucomm Live, my podcast, which airs every Thursday live at 4, as you know, has taken off a life of its own, and our audience is growing like yours, and I'm very proud and happy to have you on board with us, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Kris, to the fullest degree. Moving on to what's going on in the world of sports, and Kris, I know we bring up world politics every day and all that stuff.
Yeah.
One guy's name that's being mentioned so far in sports has been LeBron James. And
Yes,
what's been happening
I
in
heard
China.
Dan just told me. You know Danny. He just told me what happened, and correct me if I'm wrong. So when the whole China thing happened, and for those of your listeners who may not know, China's going through some real problems right now because the people want the right to freedom of speech, a right that we take for granted here every day in America.
Right.
And they're getting killed for that. Okay, there's nothing more American than supporting these guys and gals. I mean, the Chinese worker got smarter and started organizing. That's why if you look at the tag on your Yankee jersey right now, it didn't say made in USA. It hasn't since the 1970s.
No.
It used to say made in China, but then the Chinese labor started getting smarter. Now it's made in Vietnam.
Right.
The bad guys constantly go where labor is dumber and cheaper, and Indonesia seems to be where it is in Bangladesh right now. So, the NBA and the owner of the Mavericks did the right thing supporting these people. And then, there was some controversy that the players could lose money, but then the players came in support of the people.
Right.
Now LeBron's saying that the GM was wrong.
Yeah.
The general manager or the owner?
The general manager of the Houston Rockets, Daryl Morey, came out and tweeted something along the lines of, I support the freedom of Hong Kong, the people of Hong Kong, and they should have freedom and such. And, everybody, the Chinese government wound up taking down advertisements for their exhibition games in China, which was absolutely crazy. And also, too, with Houston drafted Yao Ming back in 2002 with the first overall selection. Years and years and years of business that has happened and grown with the Chinese businesses that have come in for the Houston Rockets. It's come to a head now at this point in time because of what had happened. And now you're getting Brooklyn owner Joe Tsai just about going in and mentioning his tweets and everything like that. But that was a week ago. And we live in a world now that is so pushy and feely and needy where we have to, go in there and have to give our hot take right now, where, back years ago, you see it and it's just like, it doesn't marinate.
Yeah. Like it would take a day or two for a company after an accident to respond. Twitter has destroyed this nation. It also made it smarter. It has made us dumber and more keen, but it has its negative consequences as well. But I hear what you're saying. So, this whole NBA dealing with China, I personally think it's healthy that we still maintain some form of relationship. We shouldn't pull out. We should still go. You said it on my show last week. There are more Chinese fans in China than there are Americans. Period.
There's a billion fans. There's a billion people out there.
And like with unions trying to get good work, whether you're in the trades or have a good contract, if you're working in the crafts or in the public sector, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So if you leave that table, it's not wise. But poor LeBron. Here's a man who's built schools. Here's a man who stood up like Colin Kaepernick for black men just getting murdered at record rates like no other race of men in this country's ever seen. And he screwed up here. I give him a pass. He's LeBron James. He probably was handed a script to read or tweet or something. He didn't really think about it. He made a mistake.
Well, after the week that Daryl Morey's tweet got put out there by Daryl Morey himself and got deleted in the world that we live in now, LeBron had a week to basically think about what had happened, and he caught himself when he said the word financially.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard the whole tale of the tape and everything
It's going to hurt us personally and financially.
Right, like we get that the NBA players are making the X amount of money.
Like I said before, we have to idolize these unions.
Right.
The fact that they can negotiate multi-million-dollar contracts. It's kind of like how the non-union electrician is jealous of you for making $117 an hour.
Right.
Meanwhile, he's humping around for $15 an hour. But what did you do that's different? What did LeBron do that's different to earn that money? That is the real question. If I have some stats here, the average, say, baseball player, all right? Major League Baseball has 170 million fans, 10 million in Canada. The average contract is, Jeez, here it is.
You got a lot of notes.
I know, I do. And Major League Baseball is $4.38 million with the median 1.5. That's not because of them as individuals. We like to think it is. It's because that they speak collectively when talking to the owners about their wages and working conditions. And they need to act as a union with this. If LeBron, who is also the union rep for his team, talked to his coworkers about this before doing that, he wouldn't have gotten jammed up. That's why labor leaders are always quick to refer to their leadership and their sub-leaders before they say anything to the press and public.
Right.
It's smart, and he didn't do that.
Right. And, what's going on right now with everything. It's crazy. You have a fan base of about 1 billion.
And they need us right now. They need our American prosperity and our business. They need shows like this. They need buzz to continue to help them get what they want. I saw the report on 60 Minutes. They killed somebody for just protesting. We protest all the time. Once in a while, a cop will arrest us. We'll get a slap on the wrist. and they'll try to slash our inflatable rats, but we don't get shot in the chest point blank by an agent of the government, you know. And I think LeBron needs to yeah, I don't know. What is he gonna, should he say sorry? What should he do?
Do you think that, you know, maybe Nike came out and probably told him during the week, but you know, during that time, like, hey, look, listen, you know, we got you here. You're signed here for life, but we want you to, you know, think this through. Do you think the shoe companies came through and said something?
Someone, a trusted confidant, his business manager, his financial specialist, his agent, his wife, you know, probably his boss, right?
And here's another.
Is he married? Is LeBron married?
Yes,
yeah.
He's got kids, married.
Yeah. So he's not an evil, rotten man. He made a mistake. I make mistakes. I say stupid stuff all the time.
Right.
You know?
We give him a pass somewhat.
Give him a pass. But, I mean, what is everyone else doing? I'm sure all the talking heads.
Well, you look at the Barstool Sports, for example. Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy went out and he said, like, oh, you know, guy's got it. He put a T-shirt out there with communist stuff on it, and he put LeBron's face on there. You know what I mean?
That guy deserves a punch in the freaking face. I can't stand that guy, and you know that. Barstool Sports, I believe, had their people find my offices and deface it and create some damage on Labor Day weekend. He got caught saying bad things about organized labor. I know you and I have a difference of opinion on this, and maybe we can get into that if you want.
Sure, go ahead.
But, like, you know, I don't think he's self-made. He was given $2 million by a Trumper. He went ahead and took advantage. You know, he made great use of that free money.
Right.
You and I are not getting $2 million to do this show or to do mine. No. But he goes ahead and thinks he's a self-made man and starts treating the people around him like dirt. I mean, the reason why that the Writers Guild or whatever union was reaching out to go ahead and ask their employees if they're okay because they heard about how bad he was. He brought that on himself. And by picking a fight with organized labor, he lost some fans. I mean, I know a few people that just stopped listening to him. And I can ignore his Trumpism. You know, he got fooled. He's involved with Trump's long con, like a lot of people in sports are.
Right.
But we expect better of him, and he's never getting any of my support. And frankly, maybe I should just stop talking about him. What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, you know, if you ignore something,
it goes away.
It'll go away, right?
I always say it all the time. You empower people by meeting with them. Mm-hmm. You don't meet with them or talk to them, they don't exist. That's a bad way of thinking when you're in the trade union movement, but sometimes when it comes to problem people, that is the best approach.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, when we talked about it on your show, Kris, with Mr. Portnoy, you know, I respect the fact that he came from nothing and he built something 17 years later, 17 years later, and just, you know, now he's big. He's up there with ESPN. His company's up there with ESPN, and ESPN is sinking.
Is his show that good though?
It's just in general. Does
it put women down and stuff?
Is it
sexist?
Maybe a little bit to a degree, you know. But he relates to the college person, you know, that goes out there, the young person. That's what social media is all about. It's for the young guys.
Yeah,
you know, that's what he does.
Yeah.
But Kris, I want to get your take on what's going on right now with the New York Mets. Okay. I know baseball, it's still going on. It's the postseason still. The Nationals, they wound up winning the NL pennant. They're going to play the winner of the Astros and the Yankees going on. You know, but the Mets right now, Joe Madden wound up signing with the Angels today.
Yeah. I heard another name. Who was the other name that got floated?
Carlos Beltran, you're talking about?
No, it was one other. Was it Beltran?
Beltran's name is in the hat, in the hat right now.
Too early. Does he have any managing experience?
No. He's been working, you know, I think as like a special advisor for Brian Cashman, I believe, with the Yankees. But he has knowledge with the Mets. He played for the Mets. You know, he's made his money with the Mets, you know. But my question for you is, who should be the new Mets manager?
I don't have an answer for you.
Your guess.
My guess.
Yes.
What's his name? Is Showalter still got his hat in the race?
I think so, but I don't think you really want to see Buck Showalter in here.
I don't know if he can handle us. Us being me and you and Seven Line and the Flushing faithful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Will. I don't really have an answer. I can't speculate because I don't have enough research on it.
Right.
I got research on other things right here in front of me, but not on the Mets.
Absolutely.
But I can talk to you about other stuff that doesn't bother me or that I love most about the Flushing Faithful and the orange and blue.
Right.
I thought that we were all quick to jump against Mickey and Brody when the going got tough. And the going always gets tough because the Mets always win in April, but we tend to peel off in October.
Right.
Whereas with the Pinstripes, they always lose in April and win in October. That's funny. We should get a T-shirt made. Hey, 7 Line, you can bill me for that one. But but we were quick to go against Brody, and the fact that Brody got himself into that general manager position and still kept the manager that wasn't his shows the type of character that he may have. It may all just be PR and fun when you release as a story that he threw a chair.
Right.
Everybody listening to this show at one point or another wanted to pick up a chair and throw it at their work.
Right.
Whether they did or not, well, probably not. But Brody proved to have what it takes because he represented the players.
Right.
Because he was an agent, because he understood the CBA. So I think the pick is his. If you come up with a short list right now, and within seconds I'll tell you who I think can handle the New York fan. We get hard on our manager. We don't get hard on the players. If our guy, say a pitcher from the Dominican Republic, slaps his wife around, the Catholic in us comes out. We're a forgiving fan base, but we do want to win, and we want to see these kids have fun.
Right.
We do not want to be like the Pinstripes. Robots, puppets, no personality. And when I walked into this beautiful studio that Gotham has here, you and I jawed off about it like, I don't want to see my neighbors sad, but I love the locker room in Houston, and maybe this is what God's going to pick. But give me that short list, Will, and then I'll tell you, and then you tell me.
Maybe Joe Girardi, Carlos Beltran's on that list. Joe Madden wound up signing with the Angels, so that's probably going to be off. AJ Hinch, another guy, his name has been in the discussion for the managerial job over here. So out of those three, who would you want?
Jesus, I guess it's Beltran. I don't trust Girardi. I think he voted the wrong way in November. And, that your audience is like, what the hell is going on, Will C? This is On the Board Sports. Why are you bringing a political guy in here and everything comes back to organized labor and politics? Because it does. It affects everything. When these players kneel, they're exercising their First Amendment right. Whether you agree or disagree, it makes you no less of an American, whether you agree with them or don't.
Right.
And reasonable people can disagree and still go to the goddamn games,
Yep.
and still enjoy themselves. I'm a huge green and gold fan, and they're still kneeling. They came to town last year. We played the Jets. We barely beat them. It was a good game, but there was some kneeling. There was no booing. There was no craziness going on. And Girardi, I just don't think that he will be received well by guys like me, working class guys who just love this team, love this sport, with this stuffy manager who's cocky and arrogant.
Well, if the team's winning games,
I don't know.
If the team is winning,
but
games,
if the players aren't happy, and all of a sudden Alonso, the first chance he gets, he leaves because Girardi's a dick. Excuse my French.
I don't think he's going to leave
No.
just because Girardi's,
maybe here I am judging a man I never met. I'm a typical talking head now.
Right.
I never met him, but I've heard things. So
We all hear things.
What do you think?
I would personally like to see Girardi here. I mean,
Oh,
look,
wow. Well, because look what you're wearing.
Well, obviously. But no, let's say if he goes over, the Mets, they had Terry Collins here, and then they had Mickey.
What if Terry wants to come back?
Terry's not going to come back. Come on.
Terry's still ticking somewhere, right?
I know.
He's in Florida.
Absolutely.
He's in Florida.
But with Girardi, I think for me, he knows how to deal with the New York spotlight. He's won World Series here as a player and as a manager with the Yankees.
Yeah.
Now, he said that he's from Chicago, but a lot of people that have been on that he's been broadcasting games with, whether it be A.J. Przinsky and Kenny Albert, they've been poking at him like, where are you gonna go after this?
Yeah. They're trying to get the scoop.
Yeah, they're trying to get the inside scoop, and
Yeah.
just feels like, okay, like I don't want to.
Call
But
him
he's been blushing about the Mets situation. He has been.
What do you think about Ron Darling calling them championship games?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I hope
That
he
was
doesn't
pretty
leave.
He's not,
Ron, Keith, and Gary are just the best team in baseball. There's
Ron-
no.
Ron's not leaving.
Ron,
It's the truth.
he's not leaving. He got the invite to go and do that for MLB Network.
Well, he always does that.
You should try out for Kidcaster.
You're a funny guy.
You should.
You're a funny guy.
I'll submit a Kidcast of me if you submit a Kidcast of you, and maybe they'll do it as a goof.
You're a funny guy. You know that?
That'd
You really
be fun.
are. You really
Oh,
are.
I
a funny
amuse
guy.
you?
You do.
You think I'm a clown?
No, not in that regard.
Jesus.
But you do amuse me.
I know. Let's talk. Okay, what else you got for me?
Well,
Because
we talked about the Mets.
not the Packers, green and gold all the way.
What was your take on that game on Monday? Because a lot of things happened. I didn't watch the game.
Oh, you mean all the pass interference?
Yeah, with all the pass interference calls and how the referees threw the game in order for for the Packers to win. I want to get your take, Mr. Packer fan.
I don't think that's true at all. There are things that we don't see on camera that happen that they let go. There's a little bit of give and take throughout the entire game. So if they blow a call and they know it, they know that they owe the other team. They owed us. Mm-hmm. All right. I think that the Packers are in trouble this season. We tend to score a lot in the first half, and when the second half comes home, we don't want to be there.
Right.
Not having Devontae hurt. I like that Glass Rogers has been
Glass Rogers.
Yeah.
Glass Rogers.
I am going to get drummed out of Lambeau if anyone hears this and sees me at a Packer game. Like, did you call our pride and joy Glass Rogers?
Glass
Well, I'm going to
Rogers.
take it one step ahead. I think that we should start putting him out in the market. And since he's worth so much, what we pulled last season on our coach, a man who brought us to, 2 Super Bowls?
Yeah.
I think that his arrogance is too much for Green Bay. Perfect for anywhere else. He could actually probably really survive in a tough New York market. Mm-hmm.
Well, the Jets were going to hire him, and then they wound up going for Adam Gase.
Okay. I bet you they felt stupid doing that.
Still 5 games into the year, not over yet.
And Santa last year, and maybe you should have me on when I'm done with the book. Santa got me Gunslinger, the story by Brett Favre, who I miss him. He was a player's player, a fan's fan, So what? He liked banging girls. I mean, what? You married him, Mrs. Favre. You know what you married.
Right.
He's not perfect, and he didn't retire in time enough for the organization to go ahead and prepare for that. It was a big mess, and he went to New York, and we booed him. But we're all friends now. But we miss that type of leadership because he had every player's back. Never, ever have you heard a Packer put down another Packer on social media until Aaron pulled that crap with Mike McCarthy. So with the game on this past Monday, I love that we taught Dallas a lesson. I can't believe we lost to the Eagles, and the Eagles lost to the Vikes. So when we beat the Vikes, it's football. They get sores. They get their ankles hurt. Right. Their feelings get hurt. The coach yelled at them. They're imperfect. But as far as the last game, I think it's a sign of what to come. But I think if they win every 3 of 4, if you break the season up into quarters, we could possibly go to the big show. But it depends on how our prima donna handles himself.
Well, the Packers right now are 5-1. Their upcoming schedule coming up now, the Raiders at home.
Thank God.
For you guys. Then they're at Arrowhead against the Chiefs. Then they got to go to Los Angeles to play the Chargers. And after what had happened on Sunday Night Football with having a pro Steeler crowd, expect a pro Packer crowd at Los Angeles in 3 weeks. Then they got to go up against the Panthers. Then they got to go on the road against the 49ers. Then come all the way to the East Coast to play the Giants. Then play the Redskins and Bears at home. And then the final 2 weeks, they play the Vikings at Minnesota. And then they play the Lions at Detroit.
Detroit, Minnesota, and Chicago always has our number. So does the G-Men and the Redskins. Something about these teams, they know our systems. But with our new coach, with some youngish wide receivers that are brand new, with our brand new defense, which was really tested last week, I mean, he found some holes in like Swiss cheese in our secondary. And he's a very humble man. I like the whole cancer stuff that they did. Did you watch the entire game?
No, I didn't. But Matt Stafford is an absolute ace of a quarterback.
Yeah. And a class act, so I like that. But, yeah, I'm nervous with those games. The Giants, which I'm going to be at that game. So, hey, folks, Google me, Kris LaGrange, Kris, last name LaGrange, Ucomm. Just to Google that, you'll find all of my media and what I do. And please don't come and punch me in the face, all right? Because it's just a show, and I'm just trying to be entertaining. But I think we might lose that game. I can't believe I'm saying that right now.
And that's at Detroit, too.
I'm talking about the December 1st Giants game.
Yeah.
That which is coming up.
Yeah,
and then we play the Skins towards the end of the season. They have our number. How are they doing this season, the Skins? Are they awful?
God awful.
Good, thank God.
They fired Jay Gruden, and now they hired a new head coach in place.
And within 4 weeks?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm up for the job. I coached PAL for a little while.
Go for it. You talk about me with Kidcaster. Go in there and
yeah, I know.
Go out there and do your thing. Come on, man.
We'll run the sweep, just like Vince Lombardi. Every play, we'll just do the sweep.
Do the jet sweep. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Speaking of, the head coach there, Matt LaFleur. What's your take on Matt LaFleur this season?
I like him
with the Packers.
I like him. It's got to be tough, man. It's like, his star quarterback is older than him. He has been involved in an organization that's had as many business managers as Local 3, just few guys before him. So he's got big shoes to fill, and it's Green Bay. We don't make rash decisions. We did last year with McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
I think the board just wanted the noise go away, and it got louder, and they learned their lesson.
Right.
So if LaFleur, starting mañana, starts stinking it up, let's hope that we fire him at the end of the season, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, you can't fire a guy.
No.
You can't fire a guy 1 year.
No.
Unless if it's really, really a toxic situation.
And having experience with football, having played it, watching it religiously, having coached it for a short period of time with my son.
Right.
There's pass, throw, run, pass, run. I think it's still kind of new to him, even though they're 9 games in, only 5 official, but 4 preseason. I think he's still trying to figure out, what Aaron wants to do. I don't think we throw enough. But we have a stud in Aaron Jones and Williams. It seems like those guys are always fighting for the starting position. That's cool.
Yep.
But LaFleur's got to, I would like to see a flea flicker every now and then.
Right.
Let's make it fun, because when we're take a gamble once in a while. But that's my take on it.
Sometimes you got to find a conservative thing going on,
Yeah. We were talking about how baseball. When do we have to go? Are we done?
No, we're not done.
Okay.
No.
We were talking the other day on my show, or were we at the bar after, like I said earlier when I first came on, that in order to be an effective community organizer, an effective labor leader, I think that you have to like a sport. And you have to genuinely like it.
Agreed.
And if you were forced to say, you know what, LaGrange is right. Everyone at the water cooler, in the locker room, in the garage is talking about the World Series, the playoffs, the Mets, the Yankees. I better at least act like I know what they're talking about, especially if you're an organizer and you're trying to get somebody more involved with their union or to actually join a union. Talking about sports and music is a good icebreaker, if you will.
It
right?
is.
So what sport, though, if you was forced on you, should you be forced to follow that can make you relatable to most other people?
Oh, it depends on the situation that you're thrusted into.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're talking with like a pro, baseball is America's pastime.
Yes.
It is. I think with what happened in football over the past couple of years, I think you've gotten to see, and with all these calls, these egregious calls that have been going on over the past couple of weeks, even the past couple of years. It's not good.
The CTEs definitely don't help.
It's not.
Even though kids in soccer and flag football get more concussions than kids in tackle, no one's ever going to print that because it's not going to sell a paper. But
basketball though can bring people together. It's one ball, and all you got to do is just get five, 6 guys. To play.
That's a good one, Will, because I didn't even think about that. I put down some stats here on baseball. The reason why I think baseball is the sport that's going to bring people together because it's beloved, not just here, but in South Korea, Japan, Dominican Republic, and East Asia. And my staff wrote this as something for me to read, which is kind of funny.
Right.
It's the only thing that Americans, Cubans, and Venezuelans agree on. And, there is an increase of Venezuelans.
Right.
Neat. And there are 20 NBA teams, 31 NHL teams, 30 NFL teams, and 30 MLB teams. So it's kind of even, right? Where these
all the pro sports franchises are
Yeah.
just about even.
Yeah. But there are also baseball leagues all throughout the Americas, Europe, Asia, and Australia. And the only continents that really haven't embraced baseball is Africa and Antarctica. So, if you are trying to organize, say, Comcast, it's a huge company, and those guys make crap money.
Right.
And they're all walking around in, say, Comcast in Central PA with Phillies hats. And they're not talking to the union organizer about joining, but he sees them wearing Phillies hats, and he so happens to be a Mets fan or a Pirates fan and kind of gets to know these guys by talking sports before you start talking shop. That person might be open to learning about other things, like the right to organize and bargain collectively.
Right.
That's why I think that sports are the great unifier. So is music.
Right.
I'm a huge Steely Dan fan. They're coming to New York for 3 nights. I go to almost all of them, 3 or 4. You wonder if that guy sitting next to you is a Trumper. The other guy over there is like a closet Klansman. But you don't want to think that, right? You're like, well,
I definitely don't want to think about that.
Yeah, but
you're going to have to.
At one point. Especially
right.
if they start becoming to befriend you and make innuendos and comments about what's going on in D.C. That is why I want the Nationals to lose. Maybe there's good people in Washington. Maybe. Not the people working in it, but the people living in it who maybe support staff and are cabbies and whatever Nationals fans might be.
Right.
But I don't want Washington to get this victory.
But also,
isn't that messed up of me?
Well, you're also a Met fan. So
Yeah, that
helps out.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, we beat them all season.
Right.
How the heck are they in the big show?
They might be like the Blues this year. St. Louis Blues. They go out there. They were in last place on January 2nd.
Yeah.
And now they're Stanley Cup champions. Maybe the same can be said about Washington. 12 games under 500 at the beginning of the year, and they wound up coming back. And, hey, kudos to them for winning.
So
having a guy like Ryan Zimmerman, who's been with the franchise now for all of his career, back when they first started, they go out, they get their new ballpark down at Nationals Park after playing at RFK for 3 years. And now they're right there on the cusp of winning a World Series. To me, I think that's great.
yes, and if it's not the Pinstripers going, if it's not the Bombers, if it's the Astros Nationals, you want the Astros.
I want the Nationals to win.
You do.
I do.
All right,
I can't stand Houston for whatever reason. I've never.
But the entire city? What did it do to you?
No, I've never been to Houston. I'm sure Houston is a great city to visit and to be around, but it's just something about the team that just irks me the wrong way in regards.
Maybe,
you know what I mean?
Maybe Altuve, just the look on his face?
I don't know. I respect the guy's story for coming up. You know, I don't know if you heard his story or not.
Tell me.
How he came up and basically nobody really looked at him. And then Houston wound up giving him a shot back in like 2011 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Signed the contract, played his heart out, and now he's MVP. He's the MVP of their team, and he's
of the league as well.
Of the league, right?
Once, then they didn't announce yet. When do they announce that? Soon?
Well, at the end of the year, but he's probably not going to win it this year.
No,
but he won it in 2017.
Well,
but
who's in the running?
That's a great story.
Kind of like Aaron Rodgers,
right?
Got overlooked, was the underdog.
Not like this though. Not like Jose Altuve, coming from another country and proving himself and trying to get his name out there.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
But what was my last question? Who are the runners up for the MVP?
Let's see.
What's the short list?
We have
Trout,
DJ LeMahieu,
mm-hmm.
and there's another name that's really, really, really getting to me right now.
Jeff McNeil?
No, well, in the NL.
We're in. You just said the AL, right?
Right, AL. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like those are the only two guys that I could think of.
I would want it to be Mike Trout. I like him, and being a baseball coach, and I still play hardball. I'm a men's league all-star, if you will. What's nice is when we're coaching and we're especially our children, and they hear, all the great ball players come from Florida, Texas, and the Dominican Republic. Well, that is true, but don't forget Mike Trout is from New Jersey.
Right.
So you don't have to play
Southern
this.
New Jersey.
Yeah, you don't, which is practically coal mine country. But anyway, like you don't have to play baseball all year round to be the best baseball player in history, and that's Mike Trout.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just built for the game. I mean, I heard he was a bit of a cocky little doucher, I guess, back in the day. But come on, it's confidence. I mean, I'm sure he regrets being mean to girls in high school and even in college, but we all grow. Remember, these are just kids. All of them are children,
right.
20-something-year-olds, You had a guy on your last show, a 20-year-old sports writer, right? I mean, he's just a kid.
Yeah.
He's going to have opinions now. They're going to be totally different when he's an old man of 40 like me.
No, don't say that. Come on.
I know. I'm a good-looking older man.
Nah, it comes naturally.
What do you think about my blog, Will?
I love it. I love it personally that you go out there and you keep in touch with union politics and what goes on in the world.
Do me a fave, but I have a sports section, and I've asked you to become a contributor to it. You're still seriously thinking about it?
I'm with it.
Because if you can write, I'll print it.
I'm with
desperate.
I'm with it.
I'm literally offering homeless people writing jobs. But take a look. I had staff print out just a few of the headlines, sports stories that we've done. Please indulge me. And I'm sorry I'm like dominating on your awesome show.
No, you're not.
But do you see right there at the bottom?
You're talking about the bottom.
Yeah.
Here, right?
Just read the title and subtitle. These are the sports stories that we write on the world-famous Ucomm blog.
I like it. I like some of these right here. Antonio Brown threatens to quit over PPEs with the helmet.
And PPEs is funny because that's what it is.
I work with the personal protective equipment all the time in the electrical field. Helmet, glasses, you name
gloves.
it. Yeah, gloves.
Yeah.
I get it. Carly Lloyd being an NFL kicker, she could be.
I hope so.
She could be.
That would be so awesome.
U.S. soccer team, they do deserve equal pay after
even making more money for the league than the men's team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Umps with tweets.
Yeah.
When
Manny Machado don't do that, Manny. Kids are watching.
Right. And even the let the kids play with what.
Yeah, I love that ad campaign.
It's
absolutely
really,
love it.
It's really true. To say the very least.
So those are the type of sports stories that we write.
Right.
How they're enforcing their collective bargaining agreement, and that flyer that you're looking at right there. My fat ass is going to run in a 5K this Sunday. What time are the Packers on Sunday?
I think they're on at 1.
Oh no!
Hang on.
I'll
look it up.
Please be a night game or a 4 o'clock.
I'll look it up for you.
Look it up because this is the run for Beagle. Scott Beagle was a cross country coach originally from New York's Long Island. And what time?
The game's at 1 o'clock.
God damn it!
It's okay. That's why we have phones. Anyway, this here the Scott J. Beagle Memorial Fund Run for Beagle Long Island 5K Run Walk. It's this Sunday, October 20th, 2019. At 1 p.m. Start, rain or shine at Heckscher State Park, field number 1. Register at scottjbeaglememorialfund.com. The registration options are for the 5K run walk. It's $30. Personalized race run number by September 28th, right?
Well, yeah.
It passed already.
It passed, but they have same day, and the money that they're using, Will, for this is to send kids to sleepaway camp who are touched by gun violence. Some kids live in rough neighborhoods. They can't pick where they lived or who their parents are. And there's shootings and gangs and all across the country. So we're raising money to send those kids away on a sleepaway camp, have a positive influence. It was Scott's lifelong mission. And those of you who don't know, Scott Beagle was murdered at Parkland saving his kids. So if there's any union teachers out there, any union guy or gal with a heart,
right.
If you're out in God's Green Island, participate, spend the $30, walk if you can't run. I'm going to run. I'm going to be red-faced within 10 seconds. I don't think I'm going to last, Will.
No.
I mean, when I skate, I still play ice hockey. It's just a minute and a half skating hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes I barely do that. And when I hit the ball and run to first, it's not that long, but I'm going to go ahead and do this for a great cause to help these kids.
No, that's an absolute great cause that you're a part of. And, what's going on in in this is just absolutely unbelievable. You know, there's a lot going on. I just want to get your quick take on the Tampa Bay and Montreal split of games right now. The Rays, they wound up going out. You know, Stu Steinberg, the owner of the Rays, went out and said that we're going to play half our games. And I know we talked in Montreal, and I know we talked about it in on your show, but I want to get your take on what's going on here.
Well, you know, you got to think about the players. First of all, to be a professional athlete where travel is required all the time, whereas with football you may be only on the road 8-10 weeks out of the year. With baseball, you're on the road a lot more, and hockey as well. It's a very grueling sport. So if this was a split for, say, the NFL, I think the players' union might take it differently.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that.
But when it comes to this, you just have to ask the players' union what they think, and they're not happy about it at all. I'm hearing some noise. Is everything all right?
Yeah, no, everything's okay. That's my co-host Shawn Thomas calling.
Oh, Shawn.
Shawn, how are you, bud?
What's going on, family? What's going on? Thank you guys for allowing me to join in for the last few minutes. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We were just talking about how Tampa Bay and Montreal are splitting their games right now. So, you know, it's good. You know, so we've been talking about that. Shawn, what's your take on what's going on right now with the whole Tampa Bay and Montreal situation?
Yeah, you know, well, I could have sworn that we spoke about this before. I think when this was brought up a while ago, I remember me and you speaking about it, and I personally don't think it makes sense. You know, I don't know how, you know, you could try and have, you know, 2 home fields. It doesn't make sense. Like, I feel like you should try and have one firm one. If you know, one is more firm than the other one, you should stick with that. But to have, you know, a bunch of games here, a bunch of games there, almost like you're having like 2 fan bases, no place is going to feel like home. So I don't agree with it, but obviously MLB is a business first, and they see money in Tampa, they see money in Montreal, and that's what they're going to do. So that's the unfortunate part.
Yeah, so, you know, it's crazy what's going on over in Tampa next year. I mean, they had a great run in the postseason this year, taking the Astros to 5 right now, but, you know, it's crazy what's going on. We're going to move on, though, now to NFL picks, okay? We're going to move on to NFL picks right now. Okay. Right now, as it's slated, it looks like, Shawn, you have a couple wins over me so far this week, so it's pretty close. I think it was like 50-47 or whatever now. But
okay.
Yeah.
It's still going real close, Will.
Yeah, it's really close, but we're going to go on to it right now with the picks. So Chiefs and Broncos are going to play this Thursday. Broncos are the home team right now. Broncos are 2-4. Every game is so far close with the Broncos right now. Shawn and Kris, who do you got in this game?
Is it Chiefs Broncos?
Yeah, Chiefs Broncos. Chiefs. Yeah. Chiefs for Kris. Shawn, who do you have?
Well, give me the Chiefs. I think they rebound off that South Houston loss. Give me the Chiefs.
I'm gonna have to go with the Broncos here. Gonna go with the Broncos. Trying to figure out. They've been close. They've been very, very close in a lot of their games.
What is their record right now?
The Broncos' record is 2-4, while the Chiefs' record is 4-2.
So this is the week that they're gonna.
I don't know.
Get tired of losing.
Who knows? I'm going to go Broncos. Both of you guys got the Chiefs. Moving on now to the Sunday slate of games. This week, we have the San Francisco 49ers going up against the Washington Redskins. 49ers 5-0. Redskins getting off the winless schneid, getting their first win against the winless Dolphins in a very close game. Guys, who do you have in this game?
Well, give me San Fran. Nobody expects them to be 5-0, but they are. Washington is a hot mess, even though they won their first game against the Dolphins. Nobody cares. Give me San Francisco.
Yeah, unfortunately for the entire city of Washington, yeah, San Fran's going to – it's too early.
Clean sweep across the board here. We're going with the 49ers as well. Moving on now to a very interesting game. Kyler Murray making his New York debut, going up against the New York Football Giants. The Cardinals are 2-3-1. The Giants are 2-4. Guys, who do you have in this game?
Gyman.
G-Men.
Yes.
G-Men. Okay. Shawn, who do you have?
Well, this one is tough, like you said, because the battle of first pick in the draft, the sixth pick in the draft. But, well, you know what I always say: West Coast teams coming east don't fare well. So, give me the Giants at home.
Yeah, clean sweep across the board over here as well. I think the Giants are going to pull this one out. It's going to be a close game, but I think they pull it out. Moving on now to the Texans and the Colts, a classic AFC South matchup. Texans are 4-2. The Colts are 3-2. In a battle of which might end up being first place over here when it comes down to it. Guys, who do you have in this game?
A tie.
A tie?
No, I'm just kidding. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
No. Who's at home?
The Colts are home.
Yeah, Colts.
Colts at home. Shawn, who do you have?
Well, I didn't think Houston was going to be this good this year, but they are surprising me. So I'm going to take them once again. Give me the Houston on the road.
All right, I'm going to have to go with Houston on the road here as well. I think Jacoby Brissett is good, but, the Texans have really responded over the past couple of weeks, so give me the Texans. Moving on now to Chris's game right now, although he won't be watching it. He'll be running a 5K.
I think
event.
I might have to make calls now to the charity. I can't miss a Packers game.
Watch a game over the phone, bro. This is for a good cause. Raiders and Packers. Chris, you going with the Raiders here? I mean the Packers?
Of course, yeah.
You going with the Pack?
You never bet against your team. Ever.
Sometimes.
If we were playing God, I would go with green and gold.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay. So Chris is going with the Packers. Shawn, who do you have in this game?
Well, are the Packers home?
Yes, Packers are home.
Yeah, the Packers don't lose at home, it seems. So give me Green Bay at home.
Referees kind of gave him that game.
I like this Shawn guy. He's nice. I wish you were here, buddy.
I like you too, and I wish I was there.
Yeah,
too, pal. Trust me.
I know. Where are you? You at work or something? You far?
Yeah, man, I'm at work. I had to rush and take this break so I could, call in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So both of you guys are going with the Packers. I'm going to have to go with the Packers here as well. Moving on now to the Vikings and the Lions, another classic NFC North rivalry brewing here. Lions are 4-2. Vikings are 4-2. The Lions are 2-2-1 in a game in which they should be 3-2-1, but the referees wound up.
Knock it off. No one agrees with you.
No, we're not going to knock. Well, you're to come from the Packer homer over here. Guys, who do you have in this game?
Definitely the Vikes. Yeah, the Vikings.
Vikings?
Yeah.
For Chris.
Yeah, Detroit's not that good. The Vikings aren't that good either, but they're not as bad. The Vikings are not as bad as the Lions. Yeah.
Yeah. Shawn.
I think the Lions are good, but the Lions cost themselves that game. I think the Lions had 3 possessions inside the 10, and they came away with 9 points instead of 21. So the refs didn't cost the Lions that game. The Lions cost themselves that game Monday night. But in terms of this game, I think the Vikings found something last week when they blew out Philly. So give me the Vikings on the road to beat Detroit.
I'm going to have to go with the Vikings here, too, and see what happens. Moving on now to the Jaguars and the Bengals here. Jaguars are 2-4. They traded away Jalen Ramsey to the Rams. The Bengals are looking to get their first win. Jaguars look like a dumpster fire right now at this point, but then again, so do the Bengals. Guys, who do you have in this game?
This one is tough for because the Bengals have actually been competitive in the games that they've lost minus 1 game, but give me Jacksonville. I think Gardner Minshew finds a way to get it done.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati. I think they're due. After hearing what you just said, I'm making an educated guess.
So we're splitting the wins up over here.
Yeah.
Shawn's going with the Jaguars. Chris is going with the Bengals. I'm going to have to go with the Bengals here, too. I mean, look, man, listen, they're due for a win. And their passing offense is ranked 11th in the league. They lost out. Jalen Ramsey's gone now at this point in time. So although their defense, it's not that good looking right now for the Bengals. They're ranked dead last in all of the league. I'm kind of expecting the Bengals offense anyway to at least show something here. So give me the Bengals at home. Moving on now to the Dolphins and the Bills, classic AFC East rivalry here. Dolphins winless, Ryan Fitzpatrick almost got them the game winner last week against Washington, but it's a heartbreaking loss. They couldn't convert on that 2-point conversion. The Bills, they're 4-1. They're looking like they're dominant, but again, it's still early in the season. Guys, who do you have in this game?
I'm going with the Bills. I've been to Bills games. I'm originally from upstate New York, and this is their season, and I want them to win because of my friends and family and neighbors up in upstate New York. So let's go Bills. Hey. You should play that song in the beginning of this show instead of Semi-Charmed Kind of Life. That's a song about drugs and alcohol. That's okay. I'm not your producer. The guy in the other room was not talking.
Well, I'm the one that came up with the song. It's just a beat that rocks.
I like it. I'm just messing around.
I know.
Sorry, Shawn. Who's your pick, bud?
I'm going to go with the Bills. I
Nice.
agree. Like I feel like the past couple of years, the Bills have been knocking on the door. I think they break through the door.
Can you guys imagine a Buffalo Green Bay Super Bowl? I mean, I'd be so happy.
That'd be a classic one. Man.
Yeah. And like Belichick gets hauled away in cuffs. and I don't want anything bad to happen to Brady, but I actually think Tom Brady's good for the sport and a good role model for the kids. Don't mind me. I'm just shooting up some insulin right now. It's not a PED.
It's okay.
All right.
He's got to do what he's got to do. Shawn, who do you have in this game? Bills? Short and sweet?
Bills here.
Okay,
Yeah.
So we're going to go with the Bills here. Moving on now to the Rams and the Falcons right now. Rams are coming to the East Coast. They got Jalen Ramsey, but the Falcons right now are just an absolute dumpster fire at this point in time. Guys, who do you have in this game?
After saying that, how am I going to pick the dumpster fire?
I mean, they're due for a win, but it's, what more can you want at this point? Who do you guys got?
Atlanta is the biggest disappointment this year. They have way too much talent to be 1-4 or 1-5. So
1-5.
Even though I don't like West Coast teams coming east, I think this is the exception to the rule. So give me the Rams to the Falcons.
All right. I concur. I agree.
All right, so we're going to go clean sweep across the board here as well. Picking up Jalen Ramsey is a big, big help right now for this defense for the Rams. Moving on now, Shawn's Titans going up against the Los Angeles Chargers. Excuse me, I almost said San Diego. Chargers, one of the more bigger disappointments in the league, along with the Rams. The Titans, Shawn, as you know, they're going to be starting Ryan Tannehill at quarterback for the Tennessee. So who do you have in this game, guys?
Well, the worst thing that could happen to Tennessee is Pittsburgh beating the Chargers Sunday night. The Chargers are going to play with their heads on fire, and I don't think this game is going to be close. Give me the Chargers to beat my Titans.
I think the Oilers are going to win this one.
Well, that's what they were called at one point in time.
Yeah. So I still call them the Oilers, so I'm going with the Oilers for this one. Let's go Warren Moon.
Absolutely.
All right.
So we're going to go with the Titans here as well. Clean sweep across the board here. Moving on now to the Ravens.
No, I picked the Chargers.
Yes, you picked the Chargers.
Are you guys writing this down, or are you just saying it?
We're saying it and then we write it down.
Then you write it
afterward.
down.
Yeah.
Okay, that's.
You know what? I'm
makes
gonna change my pick from the Titans over to the Chargers
because of Warren Moon.
No, but just because of the fact that Ryan Tannehill is playing in this game. So give me the Chargers here.
Smart man, Will.
Yes. Well, I'm learning from you, bud. All right, moving on now to the Ravens and the Seahawks. Seahawks are the home team. Ravens on the road. Lamar Jackson's been playing very, very well. And their offense right now is actually first in the league after this week. But the Seahawks are in the top 5. They're ranked at number 4. Their rushing attack for the Ravens is actually pretty good. Guys, who do you have in this game?
What did the Seahawks do last week?
The Seahawks last week.
I watched a little of that game.
They won. They beat the Browns by a point.
Ooh. Yeah.
But that was that.
But the Browns
Cleveland.
aren't a shit show anymore. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
Ravens on the road.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
No, you know what? I take that back. You're right.
Seahawks at home.
It is in Seattle. So
Seahawks at home.
and they're
for
getting
Kris.
an NHL team. I'm excited for that.
I
that city.
can't wait for that.
That's right.
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be.
We're gonna name. We called it the Seattle Pilots. It's gonna be the name of their hockey team. It's gonna be awesome.
Let's see what happens there. Shawn, who do you have?
Well, upset special. Give me the Ravens on the road, and will for one reason and one reason and only. Earl Thomas makes his return to Seattle. I think he's going to have the crucial play of the game: a pick, a tackle for loss, a fumble forced, a fumble recovery. His exit from Seattle did not go well, and I think he's going to make a big play in the game. Give me the Ravens upset special.
I'm going to have to go with the Ravens here, too. I think their offense is going to really be very, very key. The Seahawks, their defense is ranked 21st in the league right now, and their rushing attack for the Ravens is actually very, very good. So it's going to be an awesome game to watch up there in Seattle. Moving on now to the last set of 4 o'clock games, 4:25, Saints at Bears at Soldier Field. Gentlemen, who do you have in this game?
Saints.
Saints on the road for Kris. Very short and sweet there. Shawn?
The Saints have played well with Drew Brees hurt, but they really haven't played anybody minus the Cowboys, and how good does that win look? So I think the defense gets the job done. Give me the Bears at home.
I'm going to have to go with the Bears here, too. On the road for the Saints is going to be a tough battle for Teddy Bridgewater. I know he's played in conditions like this before, but it's I think the Bears and their crowd are going to be very, very loud, and they're going to show it.
Whatever.
Moving on now to Sunday Night Football, you have a classic NFC East rivalry between the Eagles and the Cowboys. Both teams are 3-3. Who wins this?
Eagles, no doubt. Cowboys are. You saw the way they behave.
A 4-game losing streak for them.
Yes,
Wow,
they're
okay.
not America's team anymore. Landry's long gone.
Gotcha. Shawn?
Well, Dallas has had Phillies a number of the past couple seasons, and I think this is just what the doctor ordered for them. I think Dallas rebounds and wins at home. Give me the Cowboys.
I'm going to have to go the Cowboys, too, here.
You guys are probably right, but I'm just so embarrassed that we lost to the Eagles. You know, we shouldn't have. It was one of those things where my child went to bed crying.
Well, also,
You know?
too, how do you think the Jets fans feel after beating the Cowboys last week?
Well,
They've
are we
great.
on to the Monday night game finally?
We are going to be on the Monday night game, man.
All of
We
New
are.
England, be very afraid. The Jets are hot. Darnold's done kissing every girl. He doesn't have mono anymore. All of this region is excited. Are our Jets good? The Pats are just, I'm tired of them winning, like your Yankees. I'm really pulling. I'll put $200 by it. If you're a bookie, call me, contact me on social media. We'll exchange some monies. When they're getting what,
Jets.
2.5?
I have no idea what the numbers are.
Yeah, I
but
think I just had it on another screen. But, yeah, I think the Jets are going to upset, and I think that Belichick and Brady know this.
Kris goes with the Jets. Shawn, who do you have?
Well, I know the Jets just got Darnold back, but it's not even the Patriots' offense that's impressive. It's the defense. And I think yes, I know Darnold's back, but I think this is a sluggish defensive game. But give me the Patriots. I could see this being a 2017, 17, 13 kind of game. So, but give me the Patriots.
So close and boring, basically.
Yes, correct.
I'm going to have to go with the Jets. Upset special. I think the Jets go out there. They proved a lot last week
Nice.
against
That's why
Dallas.
I like you.
That's why they proved a lot against Dallas last week. And not only that, but the Patriots so far, the first 6 weeks of the year, they've gone up against the Jets, but they played up against Luke Falk. Luke Falk is now gone from the Jets. They went up against a bunch of teams that have been really underperforming, with the exception of the Giants game for the first half of that game, and they were right there in it. But again, just going up against they were right there in every game. So with the exception of the Dolphin game for the Patriots, they blew them out, and the Steeler game in which they blew them out. Give me the Jets at home. MetLife's going to be rocking. Call it Jet Life.
Jet Life.
And
That's
on
right.
that note, those are our picks. Guys, you have any final thoughts on this show?
How come the guy in the box doesn't say anything?
Because he doesn't. He's not a sports fan.
You
That's
should
why.
say something. Like, I agree with you, Kris. I should like a sport.
But
And
he
it's
does-
baseball. And can I have a Mets hat? I have like 20 of them. Give me your address and I'll send it to you.
I did like you talking about the Third Eye Blind song. That was pretty funny.
He's a huge rock and roll fan. So
All right.
we know
all
that.
right. WWE is coming to Fox, so there's hope for everybody. Right? Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, final thought. That was your final thought?
Yes, thank you.
Ha-
Thank
Kris-
you for having me.
Chris, how do people follow you on social media?
Okay, so just UCOMM Ucomm. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Our website's ucommblog.com, and I'm pretty easy to find.
Awesome. Shawn, you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, just want to thank Kris for making some time to come on down and join the show. So, Kris, from me and Will, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for always. Yeah, man, definitely. Will, thank you for always holding down the fort in my physical absence. Hopefully, I make it down to the studio soon. Will, I know yesterday was a tough day, but hey, hopefully they get the game in tonight. Probably not.
They're not. It's postponed. It's postponed.
It's postponed?
Yeah.
Okay, so tomorrow or whenever they play game 4, hopefully they do a rebound. But hey, Will, guess what, Will? We are 6 days away from the NBA, so can't wait for that.
Yeah, can't wait for that. One crazy season coming up. I have no final thoughts other than thank you, Kris, for coming down.
Thanks, Will.
And we will definitely talk soon, buddy.
Yes.
All right?
All right, buddy.
Awesome, man. For everybody here at Gotham
Appreciate
Podcast
you.
Studios,
Hey, buddy.
for our wonderful producer, Miles. Miles is always a great guy, controlling the ones and twos behind the glass here at Gotham. And for Kris LaGrange from Ucomm, I'm Will Trucci logging out. We will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.